Hi everyone. Today we're going to work on the Missouri Puzzle Quilt block. The block size is 18.5 by 18.5 inches, and that's the unfinished size. Now what you're going to need is two background fabrics. For the first one, which is like the main one, you're going to need a fat quarter. The second background, which I only used one, you'll need a fat eighth. So if you're going to use one background fabric for the whole block, then you're going to need a little bit more than a fat quarter to make that happen. Now, from your assortment of your mediums and darks, which in my case I've used 6 different fabrics, grab a fat eighth of each so that you have plenty. Choose which one of your assortments from your mediums and darks or your prints that you would like to frame the center square, and also choose your fabric for the center square and make sure that excuse me, they're not the same colors. All right, so now we're going to get started on our Missouri Puzzle Quilt block. So don't forget to download the PDF pattern so that you have all the instructions and the cutting measurements on how to make the block. All right, let's get started. Now that you've downloaded your PDF, if you'd like to go ahead and cut your fabrics and get ready and sew along with me, pause the video so that we can get started. Hi everyone, it's Nancy McNally, and today's single quilt block is the Missouri Puzzle Quilt block. Again, it is 18.5 by 18.5. That is unfinished. So what we're going to work on is we need to make some half square triangles. So let's show you on here. We're going to work on making our half square triangles. We're going to do the 2 at a time method, and then we're going to make our 9 patch. Now before we get to our 9 patch, we have the excuse me, the bar section, if you will. Sounds funny to say that. Right here, this rectangle that is made up of these 3 rectangles. So in the pattern, I used the cream number 2 in the design, but here on this one, I used the same one. So you can do whatever you would like to do. All right, so let's get started. Now in the pattern, I show you the more of a traditional way to make the half square triangles. Oops, hang on, I'm getting my iron going. But I'm going to show you what I do because I find it's faster, and I don't necessarily want to say it's easier, but I just prefer this method. So in the pattern, I have you draw a diagonal line from corner to corner, and then so you're going to match it to your other fabric to make your half square triangles, and then you'd sew a 1/4 inch on either side of the drawn line. But what I like to do is I like to go ahead and match my 2 fabrics that I'm going to use for the half square triangle, and then I go ahead and cut it without drawing the line. I'm going to cut another one, so I'm not going to close my blade. And now they're ready to sew. So let's go ahead and cut another one. See, I think I did. All right, yes, there we go. We'll just use this one just to show you again. Just go like that. You place your ruler where you would draw that diagonal line, and you cut. And because these are oversized, you still have a little bit of fudge room. All right, let's get these sewn. Now I'm using a 2.0 stitch length, and I'm also using my 1/4 inch foot for my sewing machine with the fabric guide. And my iron should be, yep, it is ready. One more. Oh. Okay, we're going to cut these apart, and then we're going to press. You're going to press your half square triangles towards the darker fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then trim it down, and then we're going to move on to the next one. All right, so here's my half square triangle. So I'm going to take, I'm using a 4.5 inch creative grid ruler, and I'm going to place the diagonal line along that diagonal seam right there on top of it. And then I adjust the ruler so that the measurement we need is on the 2 outer edges that are under the ruler. So these are going to trim down to 3.5. Now, if it's hard for you to hold this size ruler, then by all means, switch over to something larger, like say, this one is the 6.5. There we go. And then we're going to trim off. We're going to open the rotary cutter first, and then trim. These will go in the trash. And you can use your rotary cutter to trim off the other dog ear, or you can use your scissors. All right, so you're going to trim all your half square triangles after you press them. And now we're going to move on to this section. So let me get these pressed and trimmed, and we'll be right back. So while I was preparing my half square triangles, trimming them down, I went ahead and made another one. I made a nice maize colored half square triangle so I could have the 3 for the corner section. So I'll show you that in a few minutes. All right, so now it's time to join our rectangles. So this is very easy. You're going to sew, move that out of the way. You're going to sew one of your lights on either side of your whatever color you've chosen to be that bar that's going to go between the 9 patch blocks. So as you can see, I've chosen the blue. It's right here. So that's what we're doing now. And you know, that's quick and easy sewing. So just line them up, right sides together. You're going to join the long end to the long end, and then you will press towards the dark. All right. So now we have that. See how easy that is? And now you can see I've used fabric with script or words on it. It does not matter to me which direction the words go in. I know it bothers some people, but it doesn't bother me because I didn't buy the fabric to read it. I just bought it because I like the way it looked, and I like the little touches of different colors. And I forgot to mention, you are going to need to make 12 half square triangles. So make sure that you have plenty of those, and you're going to need to make 4 of these. Let me get this one pressed. Now, this unit is going to join to these, and these will go on top. So I'm going to go ahead and sew one, even though the pattern does not say to sew it. This is the way I constructed the block after I wrote the pattern, because it makes you feel like you've accomplished something when you can sew part of it together. And then we will press towards this piece right here. All right, so now let me get prepared to do the 9 patch, and we will get set up for that, and I'll be right back here. So as you can see, I have my 9 patch block set up. So I'm going to go with my light to dark, and notice I use this fabric in the center because I want to draw your eye to that. So let's get these sewn. Okay, I'm going to keep these together for the moment, and I'm going to finger press towards the dark, or you can take it to your ironing board and press. Now we're going to do the third one, and everything is still, because I kept it all together, it's in the same order. Now we can snip these apart. Oopsie, almost cut the fabric. Ah. Okay, now we're going to press, again, press towards the dark for each one. And there's the third one. All right, and let me get my hair off there. All right, so now we're just going to join the top row to the center row, and then the bottom row to the center also. I would suggest pressing in between so that it's easier to maneuver the fabric. This unit, you can press the seam allowances for the rows, and ouch, any direction, ow, any direction you'd like. That iron was hot. You can even press them open. that is a personal preference, and I'm finding that I'm also starting to press things open more often. And there we go. All right, let me press this one. So before we move on, we want to make sure that this block is the right size. It's going to be the same size as your half square triangles. And it's actually really important that you make sure that it is the correct size. And wow, I did pretty good. I'm spot on that one. So now I'm going to get set up and I'm going to show you how we pull it together. In the pattern, I show you how to pull it together in long rows. So let's see if I can't do this like this so that you can see it. So in the pattern, I show you to pull the top row together. Where's my block? Here it is. So you would lay everything out and then join all these together. That would be row 1. This would be row 2. This is row 3. Row 4. This is row 4 right here. And this is row 5. When I went to make the quilt, or the block, I decided I was going to do it different. I just liked it better this way. So instead of joining it, here's do it this way. I joined these units together first. Made more sense to me, and it made me feel like I was pulling the block together faster. So let's pull these together this way. All right, let me move this out of the way. So you're going to gather 3 half square triangles. Let's see if I can, maybe I can do it this way. There we go. Okay, so we're going to need 3 half square triangles and a 9 patch. So let's gather those. So I got this one, and this one. And here's a 9 patch. Now, because this block is kind of big, I'm going to move things to get them out of the way so I have some room. And we're going to use one of these, and I don't need any more of these because I'm just going to show you the corner and the center. The rest is very easy to do. All right, and we just need to get this little guy to lay down flat. So I'm going to lay this one here because it's going to go right there. Now I have this green one right here. So what if I turn this way? All right, so we're going to lay this one here. This one here. And this one here. And now no 2 colors that are the same are touching. And this block, I did not achieve that. Where is it? I didn't even notice that I had the 2, right? Where did it go? I know I did it. I'm not lying. Oh, here it is. I was looking for yellow and it was the orange one. So right here, I lined the orange half square triangle up to the orange square in the 9 patch. I'm like, oh, I didn't want to do that. But as you can see, I did. So try not to do that. So lay it out first. Take a picture of it before you assemble it. And then look at your camera, you know, the picture you just took. Look at that picture and study it, because your eye will be drawn right to the 2 fabrics that you don't want near each other. Okay, because it'll look odd, it'll look out of place. So now all we need to do is join this corner right here. Very easy to do. So make sure first thing that your triangles are all, your half square triangles are all going in the correct direction. So we're going to go right sides together. And if you need, have a leader or an ender. An ender. Yeah, an ender. It's hard to say. So I'm going to use this one. There we go. I'm going to line these up. Just finger them. Don't be real heavy with your fingers, and join. Going to leave it here without cutting the thread. And now we're going to join these. Go right sides together. Align. Now if you need, put a pin or a clip in the side that you're supposed to sew, because sometimes we get distracted and things will get turned around and flipped. Okay, separate these. you would do this on all 4 corners. All right, so now we have these two, and we're going to go right sides together, match that center seam up, and I do place a pin in these because things can happen. So we've got that and that, and we're going to sew these. And if you need to start with a leader, which is just a scrap piece of fabric. All right, so we're going to lay this, let me press this. Ooh. So you're going to do this to all 4 corners, and then you just join your corner to your center and your corner. Now for the center, so here's your center. You're going to join this piece to the center and another one over here. Easy, right? And then the next final row, again, is a corner section and then a corner section. And then you're going to join your rows together. It is so easy. Now, because this block is 18.5 inches, I cannot stress this enough, use pins. Place pins to hold and nest, that keeps that nest, where you nest your seam allowances, it keeps them together, and it also helps to prevent your feed dogs from pushing your seam allowance in the wrong direction. All right, I used pins all the way across here to keep those seam allowances in the correct direction so they weren't moved. So that is it. That is how you make the Missouri Puzzle Quilt Block. I love this block. I have never made one of these until well, I started it last night and I finished it this morning. And so my next step is I'm going to make this just a solid quilt, as in just one block. So I have my borders. I couldn't think of it. I have my borders, so I'm going to I cut a 1.5 inch by 18.5 inch. I cut 2 of those, and then I cut 2 1.5, by 20.5. There it is. There they are, right there, to go on the left and right sides, or it doesn't matter because it's a square. It's going to look the same. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to quilt this today, and I want to show you in the next video how I'm going to quilt it, and I'm going to use my home machine to do that. Now I'm not doing free motion. I'm going to draw the design out that I want to quilt, and it is going to be straight lines, but I'll just give you a little hint. I want to do a cross hatch in the outside. I might do just straight lines through here, and I might change the cross hatch to be another, like an elongated diamond, especially when it comes in here. I want to do something different in here. So I'm going to plan it out in a little bit after I get my borders on, and then I'm going to work on quilting it. And once I get it quilted, I'll have another video, and I'll show you what I do. And I'm also going to bind it. And I put a question out to my Facebook group. So anyways, and because I asked what color should I bind it in, and they so far have suggested the blue. And I think the blue will bring the eye all the way out to the edge, and it'll just frame it nicely. So, all right, that is it for now. Thank you for joining me today on this single quilt block tutorial, the Missouri Puzzle Quilt Block, and I'm naming it Diane and Farmer's Market because my friend Diane, as soon as I designed this quilt in the fabrics that I originally designed it in, I was like, this looks like Diane. This is all Diane's colors. And so she and I were chatting this morning on the phone, and I told her that, and it just made her so happy. So, and it does remind me something that you would see like in a farm-style house, just the colors and all of that. So the quilt block was originally designed in, I believe it's called Marketplace Fabric Line, and I think it was from Riley Blake, designed by Heather Peterson. And I actually looked for the fabric and couldn't find it. So I just used what was on my shelves, and I think I did a good job coming close to it. So, all right, everybody, thank you again for joining me today. Don't forget to click the subscribe button if you like these single quilt block videos so you know when the next one's coming out. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you on the next one.